Hi, my name is Linda Sifumba and I'm back again. So we are here with Conversations with My Big Sister. I'm here presenting my friends. I'm so excited to be actually offering them to you on a silver platter. I hope you enjoy them. They're very amazing. I can say this for myself. We hope that we're going to be offering you great conversation, and we hope that we could speak straight and direct from our hearts, so that you guys can actually hear our life's journeys and how far we've come and how much we've worked, so that you can be inspired and motivated to do the same for yourself. So enjoy the show. Welcome back, guys, to Conversations with My Big Sister. Currently, we're talking about like not having father. It's such a it's a crazy common denominator
in our friendship.
Okay, is the fact that we don't have fathers.
We're fatherless children. Zero daddy. Zero.
What do you want though?
If you're watching this, comment below.
Yeah, you need to be responsible and accountable.
So the crazy thing is, me and Jazz's dad, you know, Sati's gone, dead.
Not here.
Sorry,
actually, that's
Alright.
that's sensitive.
No, but like, you know, it's just like why we relate to men like this. This is it.
You fucking.
It's not supposed to be like a silent, but that moment of silence.
No, but you guys are laughing.
Like we're over it now.
We're fine. We've healed. We are cool and stuff. And then Kari and Nas, you know,
they're just MIA.
Another thing with our dynamic, everything happens in twos.
I just realized this is
right now. Like
Every time.
both of our fathers are like, you know,
Sati.
and then your guys is like two
MIA. And then they, like me and Nas are born in May, and Jazz and Kari are
babies.
So we call ourselves Maysep.
Yes.
But we don't call ourselves Maysep enough though.
That's actually really
Like
true.
we really don't.
We really need to do more things
We need to
where
do-
we call
Starting a
ourselves.
band, baby.
Starting a band.
Yeah.
But anyways, to the crux of the situation of the matter is that do you think the fact that our fathers weren't very involved in our lives, do you think that contributed to how we relate to men in society?
Yeah.
I say just because of what happened now.
Yeah.
We were just heartless.
No, that's the thing, yeah, we actually don't really care.
Like, look at that laugh. What's happened? That's not normal. Guys, you should be crying.
We should be crying, right?
No, but the thing is,
know,
you know,
okay.
yeah, you learn to be tough because
Yeah.
life is tough. So you need to be a big girl, wear your big girl panties, and just be like, you know what? Actually, this is not going to defeat me.
And also the women and the moms and the grandmothers in our lives.
Absolutely,
They've just, I don't know how
absolutely.
they've done it, but they've just been such strong women that I think we emulate. We try our best to emulate that.
them,
Like,
yeah.
It's like they've instilled a strength in us in terms of not having a father or having a male figure, that we are able to do our things ourselves. We don't need a man
to
to do,
help us.
you know, things. And I think maybe that's the reason why we might be heartless, is that we never felt the need of having a male.
somebody else in our lives, yeah. And I feel like that's also what we've also become so hard on ourselves in a sense, and hard on guys in a sense, because we're very critical when it comes to whether they come into our lives, whether they really mean to do us well or not. We're very hard on that because we're just so used to not having that male figure in our lives to really like direct us as to how to deal with the male, like when you actually come across them.
That is so
etc.
true. I don't know how to deal with the male.
Yeah,
I also
yeah.
don't.
very much
I
so.
feel like that's a battle.
It's like
Very
a learning
much
curve
so.
every single day, how to deal with a man.
So
Like,
it's new terrain.
what is this man's intentions? You know, like,
For
you know,
me,
when you
yeah.
have a father, I think they're able to say when a man speaks this way or when a man acts this way towards you, it means 1, 2, 3. But I don't think we ever had that kind of lesson.
We hit
that
the ground running, trying to learn.
You're already
as
like,
we're
yay.
in there.
Yeah, no, what? Where's your hand going here?
Yeah,
What are
exactly.
you?
Like, what
where
are
is
you
this
doing?
conversation going? Like, we're never really able
Very
to
guarded.
put.
Yeah.
We're extremely
Very
guarded. There's always a wall up.
That's so true.
I feel like that's messed up. I don't know. I just feel like it's messed up because I have like this battle of I don't know how to. Just the same way I say I don't know how he or whatever knows how to treat me, I don't know how to treat him also because of the fact that I wasn't raised in that kind of setup. So I don't know what it looks like. And then when I'm being forced to act a certain way because I'm a woman and I'm his woman or whatever, it's difficult for me because it's like you're trying to sandpaper a rock. Because I've been like this the whole time.
Exactly.
But what if that is the way that he's expecting me to act is the right way that is a woman is supposed to act, but because I was raised in a household where I didn't have that man aspect, like what actually is right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've got a problem with that supposed to, because I feel like that is it cuts away so much at your identity as to now you have
100%.
to follow a certain set of rules, like you have to fit into this box. Like why isn't it that we can find our chemistry even though I don't know how to treat a man? Like teach me how to treat you if you really want me to be in your life.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I guess that's why sometimes also that we might come across as, well, us strong black women come across as disrespectful towards them in their eyes, because we don't really know how to treat them, and we apparently and that we also kind of, because we're so guarded, it's just like so hard for us to really tap into how they grew up or how they saw life, and you know, them having their own, I don't know, their own lifestyle in a sense, or how they how their parents were around or not, etc. Like it's hard, like, because we don't really know like how to react towards them, and I think that's very, very
and also like my thing is like, why can't it be a relation, like speaking to your point, individuality, like
exactly,
based?
it's our
why is it?
relationship.
Because even as a man you also have your own unique specific individuality in terms of how you were raised, and I as well. So why is it that we can't find a common ground from the different individuals that we are? Because like you can't have a set system of how a woman should treat a man and how a man should treat a woman, because we're all humans.
Then it's generic.
And we come from different backgrounds. So our relations will always be different, whether you're a man or a woman. Even towards men and men, their relations are completely different because of how they were raised in their different households. And even with us, our relations are completely different because of how we were raised. So why is it that with a relationship together, with a man and a woman, why can't it be on a basis of, I'm coming as an individual in this relationship and you're coming as an individual to this relationship. Let's see how we both work together.
But there'll always be backlog.
How?
As in, like, when you're coming together, it's all nice at the beginning because, oh, you look nice, I like your hair, you're hot, we look better together, we look great together. But then when it gets to the crux of the relationship, you don't know what you're walking into when you first meet. So when you first meet, you guys are individuals and all that stuff. But then when you get into the actual crux of the relationship, that's where the chips start showing.
That's true.
And that's where it becomes difficult of how you're supposed to act, because you didn't know what this person expected from you as his woman when you first, from the get-go. You know?
Expectations.
Yeah, but it's like, how do you sift through the expectations of the ones that are realistic and the ones that are unrealistic? Like, how do you know?
True.
That's the problem. And I think the biggest reason for that is because I personally never grew up with any man, actually. It's not like my mom and my dad broke up and then she got a new boyfriend or remarried or whatever the case is. It's always been me and her and now my little brother. But like, I've never seen that dynamic. I see it in movies, and movies are like fake, but like when it comes to real relationships, I battle with that a lot, on how I'm supposed to be as a woman. And I feel like, why do I have to listen myself as a woman to make you feel more of a man sometimes?
Have to.
You know, like, but sometimes I feel like it happens like that because if you're too strong, if you're too aggressive, too level-minded, too independent, you too like
too much for them.
Exactly. And it's like you have to create a need, even if there is no need for your man. Like, even if there's like no need, like you're in a relationship but you actually don't need this man for your life to continue, but you have to create some sort of need for him to feel like he's
to feel like a
needed
man,
or something. You know what I mean?
I get that.
True.
That's the part where I feel like
I also struggle with
I struggle with that, because I feel like you should know I want you around me and I need you around me, but there isn't a specific need for you to provide for me, because I'm not that type of person. I've never been that type of person. I don't want you to send me money. I don't want you to buy my fridge. I'm not that type of person. I can get that stuff myself. And when I need to get that stuff, I'll pay for it myself. But I think a lot of men want that. They want a woman that they can get stuff for.
No, very true.
And I don't understand.
They end up being like marrying girls like that or being with girls like that because they know that that girl will always just be like, okay, whatever you want, okay, I'll do this, okay, I'll allow you to be a man in the household. And sometimes, like, I guess that's why, like, if, for example, even when you argue with your man or something, like, it gets to a point where it's like, you need to, like, kind of, like, bring it down a bit, because I'm the man in the household and you're the woman type of thing. So things like that. And I mean, I'm not used to that. I mean, shucks, I grew up with a single mom. Freak, I definitely didn't go through that, and I'm not going to deal with that. So definitely I'm going to speak up, and I'm going to speak up because that's who I am, and I stand for myself. And I'm not going to let, whether a man, a woman, if I feel disrespected or if I feel like I have a point to put across, I'm not going to let you dumb me down and bring me down.
Exactly.
Just so that you can feel comfortable or, you know, in the situation, etc. So
but sorry guys, but one thing, like, if you love this person, you love him with all your heart, and you know that this is something that hurts him, the fact that you show up for every fight, and you don't allow him to be the man, do you sometimes feel like you need to just let him have it by allowing him to be the man and listening yourself?
I actually sometimes I've done that before.
Me too.
I won't even lie. I do
because
sometimes.
It's, for me, that it's a case of, even like, you can translate that even to friendships and even to relationships with your parents or whatever, where you pick your fights, because you don't always, not everything is worth battling for.
True.
So you just pick the things that are really important, because some things are petty. When you're fighting over something, you're like, okay, fine, you know, I just have it.
Take it.
So like that's my thing. If it's something that actually contradicts your values and actually makes you feel less of a person, then I say don't compromise. But if it's something that you can compromise, something that you can let go, then I say rather.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, being raised by just women is like, it's actually contributed a great deal to how we respond to men.
110%. How we
It
deal
actually
with a lot.
has. I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. We'll come back and we'll just speak about Nadia and her career in a male-dominated industry. See you guys later. Welcome back to Conversations with My Big Sister. I think the one thing that I really want to highlight is that, going back, I know we were going to go to Nadia, but I just wanted to say that my relation with men, I think with me, because of having to have been sexually abused and having to have seen a lot of people in my life being physically abused, and, my relation to men has always been the most awkward relationship. I never knew how to relate to them. Like, I had always known a certain way of relating to men, and it had always been a thing of like, men need to manipulate you and control you in order for you to know that it's real, for you to know that it's love. A man has to be controlling. A man has to tell you what to do. A man has to say, this is how you need to live your life. This is how you need to be. And so now in my life, it's like, for the first time, I'm like, I know that I am deserving of a better way of being. Like, it's difficult for me to let the man take that much control, and how it relates with fatherhood and not having a father. I think it's a thing of like, I never, like, not having a father having to tell me that when a man speaks this way or acts this way, it means this man loves you or doesn't love you. If a man, touches you this way, it's not an appropriate way of being touched, And when I was young and I was in primary, when I was touched and I was molested, it felt like it was a normal way for a man to interact with you as a woman, If he touches you this way, or if he holds you or puts you on your lap and says, touch this part or do this. For me, it felt like that was my first interaction with a man. It felt like that is how you're supposed to allow a man to invade your space, So now, growing up, it's like, I saw with the different relationships that I was entering into, there were common threads, and there was a pattern. that I needed to consciously unlearn, you know. And I know that when we're talking about how if we had fathers, I think it would have been a different story. I don't know. Like for me personally, I feel like having to have learned about men from the earlier age, I think I would have known that when the man was like, sit on my lap, I would have known to say no. You know, I would have known to say, that is not how I'm supposed to be treated, you know, by a guy like you, you know. And it being a pattern growing up, I think if I had my father, I think I would have known, he would have said, you know, this young boy, this high school boy, when he tells you, if you don't break your virginity with me, I'm going to leave you, that's the guy you need to leave. And that's the guy that you shouldn't stay with. I think if I had a father at that stage in my life, I would have known not to break my virginity, you know, at that point in my life. And I think then I would have never been compromising of myself. And I think I would have known what I deserve if I had a father. Like, he would have been able to say, you know, these are the standards of a man. How I love your mom is how you need to be expected to be loved, you know? And I never knew that with the different, you know, patterns that I kept on seeing in the relationships that I kept on getting into. And I think it would have been a different story if the father was around.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, I was also like very similar situation as Linda. I was also abused. It's just that with me it was very different because it was like more like my boyfriend at the time, emotionally, physically. I didn't know how to handle it because this person would, I think more than anything would like drain me so much because they'd promise and tell me that they love me, just like my dad used to tell me that he loves me and he wants to be around, and then that person would disappear in my life and then come back again and then leave and then come back again, and that's the track record, I guess, that I kind of noticed in my life. And when it came to like men, and I just saw people leaving and coming back and leaving and coming back, and I thought that was normal. So that's why I kept allowing them to come back. Do you get what I'm saying? I kept allowing them to come back, and it was okay for my ex-boyfriend to come back, like, oh, even though you guys would be like, oh, but Kari, but why? Like, why would you do that? And it's like, well, he loves me and I'm used to it, you know? So it's just that, and I think that was definitely a common thread that that definitely was based or goes back to my dad, because my dad was always that person. He'd make promises, he'd come on, say he's coming on my 16th birthday, I go sit in Rosebank waiting for him at a coffee shop, he doesn't show up, and then says he forgot after like a week. Small things like that, you know, so they kind of affected me, and it upset my mom a lot. So I guess that's why sometimes even when I'm in a very bad relationship, it always ends badly, because I end up reacting like my mom reacts, because then I get so upset and I'm like so heated, but at the same time like I'm hurt more than anything, you know. So that has definitely like made it so hard for me to kind of break free from that pattern. Like it's been so hard because I generally am an emotional person. I'm very loving and I'm very forgiving as well. So it's just been hard, and
and I actually like that you noted how you would react the way your mom would react. And the thing is, your mom's coming from such a loaded place where this person is your father, and they have their own history, so how she reacts is like a culmination of so many things that he's done to her. And now when you take on that anger as well, you don't know the root of it, and it just comes out. And for me, it's something that I also battle with. And another reason I'm so guarded, because I was born on a day that my dad got married to another woman. So the way that I've been reacting to men has been guarded on 50 million levels, because my mom has been like that towards men her whole life, and that's how I've learned how to treat a man. Like I've learned how to box men out. Like I make men feel like they're not anything. Because I've been so heavily, my perspective on men has been so heavily damaged because of my mom's experience. And for me, it also comes at a place where it's tied into religion, because I've come from such a religious background where they treated women so like nothing.
Lowly,
like so lowly. Women are the lowest denominator in life. So for me, I battle with the in-between of how to treat a man, because I tap into this vulnerable, low, unsure, weak person because of my religious background, where like it's easy to strip me of my power because I've seen women, because that's what I know. Women, I know women as not being anything. Women are nothing. Women are just there for polygamy and breeding. And I switch between my mom's outlook on life, where it's like, you don't let a man take advantage of you, where you're so angry at men, where you're so angry at what they do to you. So for me, it's just like, I'm trying to learn this in between of balance. Exactly. Like I don't know. I switch between extremes, so that's very difficult for me.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure.
It's hectic.
Okay, so you guys went so deep.
Yeah.
That's hectic.
Yeah. It's
But
crazy.
hey, those are our experiences, and that's unfortunately been like what has happened in our lives, I guess, and like, you know, that has kind of led us to who we are or how we react to certain situations in our lives. So there's nothing we can really do about it, but all we can do is obviously be better and try learn from each other's experiences, do you get what I'm saying, and learn from our own personal ones to become better people, and kind of like tap into it. And it makes a huge difference when you start realizing where your wrongs are, not necessarily your wrongs, but like where your problems are, your issues are, and delving deeper into them, and actually trying to necessarily, you won't obviously fix it, but you can kind of like work from it and see how you can become a better person from that situation.
And speaking to that point, I think the most important thing is the learning of your personal experiences. Because like, you can never be able to learn, even from my experience, even if we have similar experiences and you're watching now and we have similar experiences, but there's something about your own specific experience that you need to learn from, that is specific to you, like to the individual that you are. Like, there's something about it that brings something, and you need to pay attention to that, because a lot of the time we lose track of ourselves because we're not paying attention to the lessons that are being taught to us by God, by the universe, by whatever you believe in. Like, we don't pay attention to the transition that you're going through as an individual, because you're so focused on looking at what another person is going through. You're so focused at looking at, oh my word, she dealt with this like this, so meaning I need to deal with it the same way. But actually, no, you need to deal with it the best way you know how to. Like, I can tell you and say, you need to do 1, 2, 3, but actually you can't, because it's your emotions, and it's like your reaction towards it, and my reaction might seem stronger or whatever, but like, your reaction is more honest to you and more honest to your process. And I think we need to start paying attention to those transitions and our processes in order to identify as a unique person, as a specific person, this is my lesson, and so I need to do this better in this specific way because it relates to me personally.
And I agree with that, and that's something I still battle with, because growing up with my father's side of the family and such a harsh patriarchal society, I learned that my voice was wrong. I learned that tuning into what I wanted, who I was wrong. So for me to actually focus on what it is that I need to learn, what it is that what is important to me, what means more to me, and what that inner voice is saying, that's foreign to me. I'm getting to know that voice, and that's why it's so easy for me to switch the role from what my father's family, what they put me through, to put it onto someone else, where they now become that authority to be like, okay, fine, this is how you're supposed to react, this is how you're supposed to be, because that's all I know. All I know is that my voice is wrong. Exactly. And for me, it's just like, okay, fine, I'm slowly learning to tune into myself, learning to have my voice speak out. And that's why it's so easy for me to go between two extremes of being absolutely submissive and quiet and not understanding what it is that's happening with me, to absolutely guarded and absolutely fighting, because that's like the inner voice being absolutely defensive, being like, girl, snap out of it. And sometimes the reaction it does not equate the situation to be like, okay, you didn't really have to react like that. But it's just me trying to find that voice to be like, hey, you know, you also matter.
That's
very important.
Sure.
As well.
Sure. So when we come back, guys, we're just gonna delve deeper into my friends uniquely. Like we're gonna talk about their careers and what they're doing in the different industries that they're in. So see you later. Hey guys, welcome back to Conversations with my big sister. So we're going to be speaking with Nana and her career journey. Friend, like, how is it like relating to men in your, you know, your career, like as a female rapper? How has it been to like maneuver your way around it and find your voice in it as a woman?
It's very difficult. Everything that women do, I think it doesn't matter what industry it is, it's always 10 times harder. I think people don't take you seriously. Hip-hop is a new genre in Africa, I think. Like, it's a very, very new genre. So women being involved in it is even newer because the people that kind of pioneered it were majority men. So I think when they look at you and they see you trying to do what they do, you have to work 10 times harder for them to credit you for the things that they've done as well, if you know what I mean. So like, for me, I feel if I release an album, I'll only get credit for it if I go like double platinum. Sure. I won't get credit for it if I go gold, or like it would be like you have to like knock it out the park, otherwise like it won't really be. I mean, you can even see like lineups today, lineups for shows and events and festivals. There aren't a lot of women on there.
That's true.
Yeah, and if you are on there, believe me, you have to have like a nationwide hit. You don't even have to be like scaping through. You have to like be one of those people that have a lot of talkability around you. There has to be a reason why you're there as a woman, where if there's other men, not all of them have a hit, not all of them are the most talkable artists in the country, not all of them have the same level of respect or credibility in their careers. But as a woman, you have to be so much more for you to be there, if you know what I mean. You can't just be there because your song is good. You can't just be there because people like you. There has to be a lot more factors for you to be on that.
Why do you think that's the reason?
I think it's just because, I don't know. I don't even know why it is. I can't understand it, because it's like it's the same question of why do you think women weren't allowed to vote? You don't understand why they did that. It's just something that people still have to battle with, and I think that's something that we have to battle with as women in hip hop. It's difficult, but it's getting to a better place. But it's still a lot of work, hard work for girls.
And like, please, can you speak about the journey of having to be where you, like, at this point, the in-between journey, like, when you started off and you said, okay, this is like my desire, because I know that, you started recording little videos on YouTube and things like that, and Jazz, like,
used to perform with me
on stage and stuff, because you were, nervous. Like, can you take us through that journey and stuff?
It was very nerve-wracking, because like people just kind of like, it's okay, maybe people didn't expect me to fail, but that is the voice that I had in my head, that people were expecting me to stop eventually, people were expecting me to not do well, and I also had set such high expectations for myself. And when I started, there's a lot of other female rappers now, but when I started, they weren't. Like, there was the underground rappers, and then I was the one that really kind of went commercial, and that was gigging and stuff, and I had a lot of help from people like Morale and stuff. They just took me up with gigs, and one of them was where I was too scared to perform by myself, and I asked Jazz to perform with me. I remember I was wearing some floral dress. It was like, in the club. Oh, it was like, really, everything was wrong.
Things were bad.
Everything was just hectic, but it was just like, and the things that, for me, I sometimes feel like I'm oblivious to things. I think, like, I'm oblivious to racism. I feel like I don't allow it to affect me so much that I refuse to see it. I'm oblivious to people talking bad about me. I'm oblivious to all that kind of stuff, that all those struggles, I never allowed them to affect me. So when I think back about them, I don't see them. I don't see those struggles anymore. I don't see the things that used to deter me or demotivate me anymore, because I've passed them, and I no longer allow that stuff to affect me. And even in the situation, I don't allow it to affect me, because I know what I want. So I end up being like, oh, okay, you don't like me, whatever. I'm gonna still do what I gotta do. And yeah, so I think I needed to be a little bit more woke in life because I think that I should have been more aware of what was going on around me. But either way, I'm still here.
Why do you think so? Why do you feel like you should have been more aware? How do you think that would have helped you at that part of your life?
I don't know. I don't think it would help me, but I feel like it would make it easier for me to answer this question. Because I feel like I was so determined and I was so strong that I never allowed the struggles to get to me. Like even the struggles now, I'm talking about how you have to be such an amazing female artist for you to be considered as one of the quisters and AKs and whatever. I don't allow that to affect me.
That's good.
So that's the good part of it, but also you have to be aware of what's going on for women in an industry that you're in to be able to beat it, if you know what I mean. And I think that to a certain extent I was just so like tunnel vision that I should have been able to see what actually was going on more to be able to know what I'm fighting. But I've just been always focused on my goals.
But
So I don't know, it's bittersweet.
I also think it's amazing.
I love that you have tunnel vision because sometimes I feel like I'm too aware.
Like
I
start thinking
so
about
true.
everything else around you.
I'm so sensitive to energy. I'm so sensitive to things that come my way that I feel like I feel it too much. I feel too much. That's my problem. And I feel like if I had something more like just focus and just block it out, like things would just I'd pop off.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe in that sense. Yeah, I just think. Like I ignore too much. I sometimes feel like I ignore way too much. Like sometimes it's good to feel. It's good to know what's going on. It's good. It might like demotivate you or demoralize you or whatever. But I think sometimes you need to. I don't know. As an individual, you need to decide if that's gonna make you or break you. I feel like if I was, I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Actually.
But I get you that like at that point
say.
when you feel it, decide what you're gonna do with it.
What you're gonna do with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But at least feel something. Is that what you're
Exactly.
saying?
Yeah. For me. I didn't allow anything in. Like I didn't like. That's why when I think, that's what I'm saying, it would make it easier for me to answer this question because when I think about my past and how I started, I don't feel like it was that difficult. If you know what I mean. I had people that helped me. I had people that took me seriously. I had people that wanted to guide me. I knew that it was going to be tough because I was a girl and they were thinking, okay, she's doing this as a hobby. She wants to be cool with the boys or whatever the case is. But I want to be able to give people stories that can motivate them. Like as a girl, you can do this. And there will always be things that beat you down and whatever the case, but you can get past it.
That at some point I cried.
Exactly. But I never had that point because I always knew what I wanted and I knew I was going to get it and I knew how I was going to get it. And yes, there were issues, but I can't say that there were issues that I felt were going to break me completely to a point where I didn't want to do this anymore. You know, there were issues of being too scared to get on stage. There were issues where I didn't have a DJ and I'd walk around with my flash and I'd be like, okay, I'm about to perform, please play track 3, 2 and 5. Those were issues that I had because I couldn't find a DJ that wanted to DJ for a girl because it was like, okay, we don't know what you're doing exactly. You know, and that was the issue. But I don't know, I feel like I don't carry those issues so heavy on my heart, on my shoulders that, oh my gosh,
that's
they didn't
so
want to,
brilliant.
you know, it's like,
that's
brilliant.
such a skill, friend.
Brilliant.
Like
that
brilliant.
is such a skill.
I wish I was that person.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Sure. I'm like a sponge. I take it all in.
Yes.
I take it all in. All of it. All of it. If you're right there in the corner, I take it all.
So like with that being said, like how are you able to maintain your humility? Like, you know, with you not being able to be very emotionally, you know, attached to many of the things and many of the things that are being said. Is that the thing that helps you to remain humble and down to earth?
I think so, because in my heart I always have this thing where I feel like I can't be a superstar. That's why I'll have somebody like Cass that will give me a complete speech in the club, because you can see that you're not carrying yourself like a superstar and you need to start doing that. And I think that's where my humility stays with me, because I'm not a diva. I'm not a person that's going to throw my toys out the cart. I'm not a person that's going to be like, if you don't have my section sorted out, I'm not going to perform in your
where
club.
My Avo
exactly. Where my Avo, where my frozen lollipop. You know what I mean? Because for me, I'd always been grateful to be in a situation like performing on stage and being at a club and being booked or whatever the case is, because I know that it wasn't something that was always just handily given to me because they wanted me there. I had to work to be on that stage. I had to work to be in the newspapers and magazines. I had to make those connections and have those conversations. So I still have that in the back of my head. I don't feel entitled. I don't feel like because I am Nadia and Nakai, you all need to move. And Cass says, I need to switch that now. I need to actually demand the respect I deserve, because it's not going to be just given to you. You need to teach people how they must treat you.
I hear you, but at the same time, I love the way that you're approaching it, because for me, it communicates a level of gratitude.
Yeah.
You have so much gratitude with the amount of work that you've done, and where you are now, that you don't, even if a person doesn't say anything about the work that you've done, but inside of you that this is the level of work that I've done, and wow, what a life.
And I feel
Yeah.
she already demands that respect. Like,
Without
it's already
even
there,
saying
without even like
anything.
trying. Do you get what I'm saying? So,
But you see, I
actually
don't see that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't see that stuff. Like, and I
I
feel
think
like it's a problem.
good thing. I don't think it's
so
a
you're
problem.
saying, so that's what you're saying when you say you tunnel vision. You don't even.
I don't
notice
see.
that.
I don't even notice that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even notice I don't even know. That's why I can't even explain it to you, because it's like in everything. I can be so oblivious to things that are happening that I'm just like. That's why I feel like for me, like with racism, like you would have to really be in my face and be racist for me to love that you're actually being racist. I'll just see you as being rude, if you know what I mean. Like I'm just like.
Mind that.
I'm just always like,
yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I need to be a little bit more woke in life, because I'm always just.
I think maybe for us, it may be that we attach too much of people's interactions with our upbringing, and how there's certain aspects of ourselves that have been hurt, so that our perception is different when we interact with people. Because sometimes, like, when you have an interaction with a person, it can trigger something that you went through, like when you were younger.
Yes.
And for you, like, there was so much of your life that was spent so content. There was so much contentment that there's not much that you can connect to an emotional scar or anything like that. That you keep it focused, because that's all it has ever been. And I feel like with me, the reason why I feel so much is because of so much that I've had to deal with. And sometimes when I interact with people, it triggers things that have happened to me. So then, like, for me, it feels like I'm reliving things all over again.
But also that could be
so
your
true,
trigger though, because your whole life has always been, like with your mom even, it's always been get up and do it, get up and do it, get up. So that could be your trigger.
That's how
to just keep it here. That could have been your upbringing.
I feel that could be it, but like what Jazz is saying is so true, because like I can't even, like the way you guys were speaking earlier about all the stuff that you've been through, I can't even pull a story like that, because I was raised in such a content home, and for me, not having my dad around wasn't a big deal, because I had everything I ever needed, if you know what I mean. So I can't say I struggled in any sort of way that I'm like, oh my gosh, there's this or whatever, because you had access to your dad and he let you down. I never had access to my dad since I was a child, and he never had an opportunity to let me down, so I was never exposed. The person that was there all the time was always there for me and always showed up, you know. So I think there's a lot of that where I'm just always content, and I'm just like, everything's gonna work out, because everything always works out. So I think I'm lucky in that kind of sense, where I haven't had, and I feel like sometimes I need to find issues. Like I have a strict mom, but like I don't feel like that's an issue, because people have strict moms, like, you know what I mean. But I don't have like I'm grateful, but I feel like it doesn't allow me to feel, if you know what I mean. Like it doesn't allow me to, because even losses in my family, my immediate family, are all still alive, and the people that have passed away when I was so small that I don't even remember the pain that I kind of felt that I can pull from losing my grandfather. I was 3 or 4, if you know what I mean. So like if I do lose someone close to me, I don't know how I'm gonna handle it, because I feel like I'm probably gonna be like, okay, they died. If you know what I mean? Because I'm not used to having a heartbreak like that, and I feel like I'm scared the day that I know it's gonna happen, and the day it happens, I don't know what kind of devastation I'll be in, or will I just float through it like I always have.
You never know until you're in that situation.
I know.
Anyone, even with us, we don't know either. No one knows.
True.
We'll be back, guys. See you in a couple of minutes.
It's tricky.
You
welcome back to Conversations with My Big Sister. And now we're going to focus on Jasmine, and we're just going to be talking about her career journey and just where she's at in terms of pursuing your the television. How's that going? Like, what is it that made you feel like that's, you know, the career that you'd like to pursue?
I've always known that I wanted it. I've always been sure that I wanted. And the thing is, I've always been shy to be honest about it because I come from a again I come from a background that's so religious that it was frowned upon to even say that you want to be in the media, to even say that you want to be in front of the camera, because the perception was anything that's entertainment leads to evil, leads to hell. You're going to go into drugs. Prostitution. So and up until I actually stayed on my own, I actually had my own space. Did I have a conversation with myself to be like, actually, you need to be freaking honest about what you want, because you've been so shy. Like, I kind of wanted it to land on me, be like, oh, it just happened. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, I didn't want it to be like a thing that I'm pursuing, because otherwise I was going to be seen as this child who's so rebellious, who wants to do drugs, who wants to do evil things, who just like is into bad stuff. And the thing is, it deprived me so much of the determination that I could have had at such an early stage, because I needed to lie to myself. I needed to lie to myself to want something that I didn't want because of the background that I come from. Yeah. And for the first time, I'm just like, you know what, actually, I don't care who says what. This is what I want, and I'm going to go after it.
And do you think that trickles out to every single part of your life then? Like, having to be very honest with yourself, yes. You know, because I feel like, I mean, knowing you, I feel like right now it's like you're finally stepping into yourself, like you're finally stepping into your authenticity and your honesty. Like, for the longest time, it was exactly what you described. Like, it was like a fear of actually admitting that this is what I want, and now it's like you're saying, you know, this is what I want, and this is what I, you know, what with that tug of war. In those moments of your tug of war, you know, for that young lady that's watching, or for another woman that's watching, in those moments, did you feel like you were robbing yourself of yourself?
I knew that I was robbing
What
myself
were your feelings and your emotions?
I knew that I was living a dishonest life, but it's just that the stronghold of my upbringing was so strong that everything that I wanted was a taboo. Everything that I wanted was wrong. Everything, and I don't think my spirit was as rebellious enough to be like, I don't care from a young age, because I grew up in the crust, in the center of a religious background, where I was part of the family that needed to lead, that needed to be the example of how people act. I needed to be that grandchild that's always religious, that grandchild that doesn't do anything wrong, that grandchild, you know, that example, that I knew in my heart that what I said that I wanted was not what I wanted. It was just a reflection of how I'd been brought up.
Sure. And so with the juggling of all of your jobs, because I know that you're juggling a lot of jobs to fuel, you know, this dream and this passion, how is that going? Like, how do you do it?
Honestly, it's a lot. It's
like, how?
Honestly, I'd rather kill myself getting what I want than live a life where it absolutely evades me. It feeds me so much that sometimes I don't even feel like I'm juggling a gazillion jobs, because my hunger is so strong that I somehow find the energy to wake up in the morning and teach yoga, then go to work for like 9 to 5, 8:30 to 5, then after that do modeling gigs, all that I can survive, that I can actually focus on this television gig. I feel like the passion and the want, the drive, I can't see myself living another life. I can't. Every time I see myself thinking that I might live another life, I get heart palpitations. I can't. I don't see myself. I don't want it. Like, sometimes I pray to myself, like, God, if television is not what you're going to give me, if media is not what you're going to give me, kill me now. That's how bad it is.
Sure. And how do you maintain the fighting spirit and the hope, even in those very tough moments? Because I know that with juggling so many jobs, and especially with what you want to ultimately become, there's always those moments where you're just like, oh my God, I don't know, am I really, like, you know, the fear that comes with it. how are you able to still maintain the fighting spirit and the hope?
To be honest,
With it all.
Sometimes.
Do you ever feel that way?
Yes. I feel like I'm drowning a lot of the time. It is not my strength. I would be lying to you if I said that I get the strength from myself. I don't. I just focus on the fact that God is good, because a lot of the time I feel like I'm drowning. And I know that I don't have the strength, and I know that I see that, like, how I put my energy in so many different things to make one thing happen drains me, but the idea and the knowledge that God is good and not me gets me through it.
Yes, girl. Amen.
Sure, that's very powerful.
Yeah.
And so in terms of yoga, is having to want to find that peace in the center, is that what drew you to wanting to pursue yoga and wanting to do yoga? Or what is it that called you to the idea of yoga?
I did, and like that is actually it, because I drew close to yoga. I think it was it 2016? Yes, that's when I studied to do a yoga teacher training course, because I had just done a yoga class, and it took me back to a place where in high school I tried yoga and I totally hated it. I was like, ugh. I was like, what is this? But then I was at a place where there was so much happening in my life that I didn't understand, and I wasn't happy about that. I had to find a place where I could quieten my mind down. Like, I feel like I needed to actually physically do something to, like, try stop my mind, like, put the brakes on it. Because I feel like I felt like I was running myself crazy, when you actually feel like you're losing your sanity. And I studied the teacher training course for myself. Like, I never had the intention of wanting to teach yoga ever. And then, like, only until literally when I finished the yoga teacher training course, and I was just like, listen, you gotta make more money, girl, to finance your life. And then you suggested that I go, like, try out Viva. Then I was like, okay, fine, cool. Well, I'm just gonna do it for a while and then just quit that.
You're done with it.
But lo and behold, like a year and a month later, I'm still doing it, and I feel like the feeling of teaching, there's only one satisfaction that I have from teaching yoga, is from when a person comes to me after a class and then they're like, thank you so much, I needed that, I needed to be quiet.
Sure.
And for me, it's just like, I had no idea that yoga actually did that. Like, I could do that for people.
Sure.
So for me, that's been the only reason that I continue to do anything that I do around yoga, because I know what it is, what it can do for people if they're really in that place where they feel like they're drowning and they feel like they just need to keep it still.
Sure, that's very powerful.
Yeah. That's how you do.
Sure. See you guys in a couple of minutes.
Let's do it.
You guys are so lucky I'm sharing my friends with you. Just saying. So moving on to Kari Sekati, Kari Nadia.
Hey now.
I know that you've always pursued, like, academia, like that had always been a passion of yours, like books. I never got it personally. I like the first moment I could leave school, I bought it.
Like
peace. Juices.
Yeah.
How?
Honestly, let me be very frank and honest with you guys. I don't like the books. That's really I know. Passion isn't really there. You know, it's not there. It's just, I think, just always being there with my mom, and from jump, actually, I wanted to do fashion from jump after high school, and I just couldn't afford to. The finances weren't there maintain that, and I kind of had to settle. So I kind of had to do something that I didn't really want at the time. So that's
Which was what at that time?
Which was, I ended up doing business management at Varsity College Sandton. At that point, I actually wanted to actually get into real estate as well. So it was between real estate or fashion. And that didn't work out for me. Fitz rejected me. UJ rejected me, even though my marks were great. Everybody else, like I felt so like down, because like everybody else that, you know, I was in high school with was flourishing. They got accepted, like no questions asked type of thing.
But why weren't you accepted if your marks were great?
Because the faculty was too small. So it was a matter of the faculty is too small, and they basically had like, in and as much as they had an access of like people that made the cut, they had to cut them down. So it was like first come first serve type situation. So it was one of those, and I was kind of hurt about that, but I ended up just pursuing business. My mom actually came up with the idea, and I was just like, okay, fine, whatever, I'll just do it. And I went, I did it, and then I started excelling in it, and I was like, shucks, who would have thought I would actually enjoy this, you know? And then that happened. I passed, I graduated, shine. And then after that, I went to Wits Plus.
It's too much, eh?
I'm just like
I'm
looking
like-
at Clive.
like-
I'm like,
like-
Clive, are you hearing her though?
This truck.
Can you hear me though?
Now I can.
Oh.
Okay, now you can. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So I
that
think
truck.
maybe start from you didn't realize that you'd actually excel in business.
Yeah, I didn't realize that I was gonna excel the way that I did, and you know, I just ran with it, and it was working for me. And you know, I thought about it in the long term, and I was like, actually, it's not such a bad subject to have actually taken on, because in the long run, I was planning to have a business anyway. So it just kind of helps in a sense, even though it delayed what I wanted to do at the time,
Which was fashion.
which
at
was
the time,
fashion,
yeah.
you know. So I ran with it, and then I got into real estate as I wanted to. I went to Wits Plus, did a course, and then I was an agent. And then after that, like I learned so much, and then I could actually finally afford to actually go to Lysof. And I went there, did my thing, but it's never really been about the books. I think it's always like eventually been about what I've really been into, and I've just eventually been fortunate enough to actually still do the other things that I really always wanted to do. So that's the situation.
Phew.
Girl, you smart.
Yeah. you are smart.
I do not think so, but like, okay.
I mean,
Well,
you
I
are a
tried.
Leonard student.
Yes.
You have
Yeah.
so many certificates hanging on your wall.
Dude,
Graduation after graduation.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's crazy, like, but at the end of the day, like, more than anything, it's really just for my mother, because my mom, I think has always been the academic type of thing, so she's always been that person, so it just worked out. And she's always like one of those, like, you can't just leave it hanging, you gotta finish, like, yo, like, you know. So I kind of had to do it.
So was it also that thing of like, Mom, here's your certificate, I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
you know
now
what?
and do my own thing?
Yeah, well, I think we're only coming to that point now after like so long.
Like,
But I had to like put my foot down and be like, yo, Mom, you got your graduation, hey? You got your graduation, babes.
Twice.
Please, twice. So please, can we just keep it moving? Because now I feel like I gotta move. And I think things are what I'm trying to do. I'm not getting there as quickly enough. And school is kind of hindering me, because now I have to like focus on school full time, which is not working for me at my age, I unfortunately have to say. And don't let people fool you. Staying at home till 26 is not nice, okay? Like, so hey,
Baby line.
yeah, you know. So yeah, and I'm trying to break free.
Sorry, the way you said it, friend, is not nice.
Just like,
Don't let people fool you.
Sorry.
okay, yeah, well.
Oh, wow.
Well, anyway, so yeah, so I think I'm just at a point in my life where I really want to break free. I really want to, like, you know, hit the ball rolling, and like I feel like I've just been under my mom's guidance and what she kind of wants, in a sense. Like, okay, my mom wants me to be that person.
I like the whisper in her voice when she
Yeah.
talks about it.
She can't hear you, girl. She ain't
Mom's guidance.
Guys, you guys are just too much. I can't.
here. No, but you crack us up in the group the most.
That's the thing.
So yeah, guys. Ish. So yeah, man. that's pretty much it. When it comes to academics, really. Yeah.
And the transition. Tell us about the transition between the academia into the fashion industry.
Well, hey, I had a bad experience when it comes to fashion school.
Yeah.
And like there's just so many wrong things. Like I can't even like start. I don't even know where to begin with it. But can you hear?
Sorry to just carry on. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, I had a bad experience, and honestly, just generally, like finances just didn't work out for me. Eventually, for lice off, and I just that's why I felt so strongly about like having to just jump in. And honestly, I feel like in the fashion industry in South Africa right now, like you really need to make your connections, because honestly that degree ain't nothing right now. Like nobody cares about it. Like nobody really takes it seriously. You really need to have the connections to actually like pursue fashion and actually flourish in it, you know. So I think the transition right now has really mostly been just making those connections with people, talking to the right people, you know, just pushing and knocking on doors and actually just being like, yo, I really want to do this. This is what I'm trying to do. Please, can you help me, type of thing. And I'm just hoping that it'll, you know, come through for me. Like,
It will, babes. I mean, girl, like I don't know what to say.
Like she got a call.
Yeah, but she got a call, guys.
And blessings are coming.
Juicy
We're
call.
just saying.
Blessings are coming.
And what is it that kept you motivated to still like be very consistent with your passion and still feel like that's where the fire is and that's where I'm gonna keep on going?
I think more than anything, it's just I don't know where I can stem that from. Like, but more than anything, it's just not stopping to try. And I think I just have continuously tried, even if it's something so far removed from what I'm trying to be or where I'm trying to be. Like, it's always trying to adapt whatever I've learned into what I'm trying to get into. And you know, that's what I've always tried to do. And like moving those energies that I got maybe from my business or my real estate and like the sales and the marketing,
That's
and
so
like
dope.
trying to like move it into like my fashion. And yeah, I think that's what's been keeping me going. Like, it always will work out. And you can like things don't work in like separation. Like sometimes, especially like when it comes to like design and, you know, the arts and whatever, like everything just kind of gels so and connects to each other. So yeah, so that's what I've always thought about. Like, if I just give up, then, you know, why, like what's gonna happen with my life? Like, so yeah man,
Sure.
that's about it.
And I think the common thread to all of us is God. You know,
110%.
the faith that we all have in God, like
Yeah,
it's always been a thing that keeps us above water. Like, a lot of the time we always feel like we're gonna drown. We always feel like we're gonna stumble, but like we always think of like the creator, like the person that created will never let me down.
Never fail you.
Ever.
Yeah. And I think also like, well, I'd also like to say, like, I think also friendships, good friendships, solid people around you, having good family, you know, things like that, like definitely play a big role. Because if they keep you going as well and they like keep pushing you, like you can't stop. Like you gotta keep going, because you don't want to let them down as well, in as much as you don't want to let yourself down. And yeah, I think that's another thing. But God definitely key all the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure, guys, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
And for your
This is
hearts and your honesty. It was so amazing. You guys are very lucky. I'm going to repeat this. Very lucky that I got to share, and they got to actually be willing to open up as much as they did, because they don't just do that for anybody. Okay. I'm just grateful for you guys. I'm grateful for your friendship. I'm grateful for the woman that you are, because the woman that you are is what keeps me motivated to do, you know, what I'm trying to do as well, especially for the girls and for people, you know. I think definitely God has been the person to unite us, and I'm just so grateful for that. I'm grateful that this was an ordained thing in my life, that this was a path that, you know, God chose for my life to interact with you guys and have you in my life. Like, I mean, not a lot of people got this blessing that I got in terms of having you guys as my friends. So it's such a blessing. It really is a blessing. I love you even more, guys, and like you guys. So lucky, but not as lucky as I am, unfortunately. Sorry. But I hope that you guys really enjoyed the segment. I hope you guys stay tuned, and if there's any other topics that you guys feel you'd like for us to delve into, let us know. Hit me up on my email, the letter L, fashion@gmail.com, Instagram, the letter L, _letter L, and just let me know. Let us know what you'd like for us to speak about and delve deeper into.
Subscribe
And like subscription, guys.
Subscribe.
And
Subscribe.
subscribe,
Yes.
follow, poke,
All of them.
all of the above.
All of them. Take
and
action.
share.
And share.
Share.
And share.
Love you.
Qoolerbox TV.